Lesson 13.1 is on trigonometry with right triangles. So some of this will be a review, some of it will be a little bit new. But go ahead and why don't you guys do a table of contents for this chapter and take notes on all the videos that you see. And then show me the notes when you get to class the next day. Maybe I should start checking for notes on all this. So your trigonometry with right triangles, this is our SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA will give you the sine, cosine, and tangent for the different ratios of the sides of a triangle. It's all in terms of theta, Theta. That's this, kind of looks like, I don't know, whatever it kind of looks like, a zero with a line through it. That's theta. That's talking about some angle measure. So we label a triangle based on where theta is. You have opposite side from theta will be across the triangle. The hypotenuse is always across from the 90-degree angle, and your adjacent side is next to the angle. So sine, this is our O and the H. So when we do sine, we zoom in a little bit here. We're going to do the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Cosine, this is the AH, so that's going to be the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And then your tangent is the OA, and that will be the opposite side over the adjacent side. Alright, so that you know, but here are some new ones for you. All of our three trig functions have reciprocal functions. This CSC, this is cosecant. And basically cosecant will be the reciprocal of your sine function. So if sine is opposite over hypotenuse, all that we have to do is flip that. We'll do hypotenuse over the opposite side for the cosecant. The SEC, this stands for secant, and this is the reciprocal function for cosine. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Your secant will be hypotenuse over adjacent. That's hard to tell what that says, but that's adjacent. And then lastly, you have your COT, that stands for cotangent, which will be the reciprocal function for your tangent. So we're going to flip our tangent. This will be the adjacent over the opposite. So what you guys are going to have to start doing now is find 6 trig functions for a triangle. You'll start by finding your sine, cosine, tangent, so you'll do your SOHCAHTOA, and then to get the other 3, basically you will be just flipping these 3 to get your new fractions over here. So not too bad, but just something you haven't seen yet. Alright, so watch a video. There's a video on this, so you don't have to write this down. But just a reminder, when you do your sine, cosine, tangent, chances are you're going to have to find some third side. So Pythagorean Theorem, if you want to jot that down in your notes, a squared plus b squared equals, not plus, c squared. I know we reviewed this a little bit at the start of the term, but that's going to come in handy. And the only thing to remember is that c squared, that c, has to be the hypotenuse. But watch a video because there are some things that happen with rationalizing denominators, and then you can just check out to see what happens with these 3 new functions. So sometimes we see a problem like this. This is similar to what the last slide was. If you're given that sine of theta equals 5 over 6, then you have to find the other 5 trig functions of theta. So I think it's helpful to draw your right triangle on this, and really you can put theta wherever you want, just not at the right triangle, or at the right angle. And then if we think about our 3 sides, here's our opposite side, here's our adjacent, and our hypotenuse. And what we want to remember about the sine of theta is that that is defined as the opposite side over the hypotenuse. That's the SO from SOHCAHTOA. So now that we know that, we can say, oh, 5 must be the opposite side. Whoa. And, oh, the whole thing just went away. Alright, so the whole thing went away. I'm hoping it's back now. We'll see. 6 must be the hypotenuse. And now that you have your two sides, you can find the third side by doing Pythagorean Theorem. And we can just label that side A. So we have A squared plus B squared. Just make sure that your hypotenuse is over here with C squared. And once you get that third side, then you're set up to find the other 5 trig functions. First you'll do SOHCAHTOA, and then you'll find all those reciprocal functions. Just a heads up on these, when you do your 6 trig functions, you cannot have any decimal answers. So we're working with radicals, and you can see if you're doing Pythagorean Theorem, you may be taking a square root, and then you'll have to reduce a radical and rationalize denominators and all that fun stuff. So there's a couple videos just to review those skills for you in tonight's homework as well. Here are our special right triangles. Go ahead and just jot these down in your notes. I can't remember if there's a video on them or not, but I'll be sure to go over these with you guys, but at least you'll have them in your notes. So do you remember how we labeled the sides of the special right triangles with all the n and the 2n? So opposite of the 30-degree angle is going to be n. Our hypotenuse will be 2n, and opposite of the 60-degree will be n root 3. And then we move over to our 45-degree angle. Your two legs will both be n, and your hypotenuse will be n root 2. So just put those in your notes real quick, and then you'll have them for reference in your homework. So another thing you want to make sure that you're doing without any problem is using your calculator to evaluate trig functions. I have 4 examples right here, and I actually already put the answers on here just so that you could check to make sure that you're getting these same answers. The first couple shouldn't be a problem. You do want to make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. We're going to learn about degree mode, well, you know about degree mode, but radian mode will be part of 13.2's lesson. So you want to be in degree mode for these because these are degrees. So just make sure that you get those answers. But here are the ones you definitely want to try out. Cosecant and secant. So these reciprocal functions. What's going to be tricky about these is you do not have cosecant or secant buttons on your calculator. So what we'll have to remember is cosecant is the reciprocal function for sine. So what you'll have to type into your calculator is 1 divided by sine of 17. And that should give you this 3.420. Secant is the reciprocal function for cosine. So you'll have to type in 1 divided by cosine of 33. And when you type that in, you should get 1.192. So these are easy points to miss on they'd be silly points to miss on a quiz or test. So just make sure that you have those down, no problem, before moving on. Alright, here's our last slide. I won't actually do this problem, but I'll just talk about the setup of it so that when you watch the video on how to solve triangle ABC, you won't have any questions on why things are being labeled the way they are. I can't remember really if we've talked about labeling with A's, B's, and C's, but when they say to solve triangle ABC, they want angle A, angle B, angle C. So they want all angles, and they also want all 3 sides, so A, B, and C. So this is what you're going to be solving for. And you can see that they already gave us angles A, B, and C. So the way that you label a triangle is angle A is going to be opposite from side A. So I know that side A is going to go right over here. Angle B will be opposite from side B. And angle C will be opposite from side C. And you can fill in the information you know. You know that A is 46 degrees, B is 8. You also know that C is 90 degrees. So right away, you're able to find all 3 angles when we remember that your 3 angles should add up to 180 degrees. And then you're going to come up with 2 trig equations for A and C. But watch the video on that to see how that's set up. Be ready to show me all your notes in class and start to love trigonometry. This is basically the rest of the year for us.